Hey y'all, I'm out hiking in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. I'm on probably the easiest hiking trail I've ever been on. It is the Oconaluftee River Trail, and it runs from Cherokee to the Oconaluftee Visitor Center and back, or you can start at the Visitor Center and go back to Cherokee. It runs alongside the Oconaluftee River, and then as you get, I'm going towards the Visitor Center. As you get to the Visitor Center, it comes into a heritage farm museum with a bunch of buildings. It's in the evening. I've never done a hike in the evening. Sabrina's back at the hotel not feeling well, so I had some time to kill by myself, so this is what I'm doing. This trail is relatively flat, not much of an incline, and it's also been graveled, so it's fairly easy walking. It is pretty. I'm right next to 441. Traffic right here to my left right now. That is traffic going into the national park. And then the river is on my right. So, if you're up here and you're not an experienced hiker and you want an easy hike for your family, a lot of people I've seen jogging on this trail, bringing their dogs on this trail. This is one of only 2 trails in the Smoky Mountains that is pet friendly, so long as they're on a leash. The other one's the Gatlinburg Trail. So I'm trying to get a little bit of exercise out of it by doing some power walking. I'm not getting a whole lot of exercise in the way of, an incline. This is rated as easy. So, but it's definitely a nice stroll for in the mornings, or like I'm doing now in the evening. I've only got probably an hour before dark, so I might be finishing in this hike in the dark, but that's okay. Well, looks like we got some wildlife up ahead in the way of a turkey. There's a couple of turkeys, but I also see more than that. Right up here, I'm on the edge of the field next to the visitor center, and right up next to the road, I see looks like 5 or 6 elk. There's my turkeys. But I'm just on my phone. I didn't bring my big camera, but I wonder if you can see them. Got a ranger out there motioning for people to keep going and not stopping. But it looks like right there is 4 cow elk, and then over here to the left of them is 2 more cow elk. I don't see any bulls. Sabrina and I seen a nice bull in the town of Cherokee the other day. I mean, like in town with the traffic and the buildings. I've seen a lot of elk around the visitor center right here, but I've never seen any in town before. Here comes some more people. They will almost always slow down for these elk, and a lot of people want to stop and take pictures. All right, we got to move. We're gonna beat dark. We actually got a big cow right here next to the hiking trail. Actually, that's a spike bull. Got little velvet spikes. Pretty cool. Well, now I'm coming up onto the visitor center. This trail goes around the backside and then up to the front. Still along the river. I've run out of gravel, but still a nice, easy walk. But if you're familiar with the field beside the visitor center at Oconaluftee, just outside of Cherokee, if you've never been on this trail, you've probably just always seen it from the road, from 441 or Newfound Gap Road. But this trail runs along behind it. I've seen deer on hikes before. And an occasional bear. First time I ran into elk. Pretty cool. Nice bonus to the walk here. Now I'm coming up on the visitor center, and this heritage farm that you can, if you park at the visitor center, which is right up there, it's the parking lot, and that's the building. You can just take a nice, easily stroll out back here. Some of these farm buildings. I see at least one elk over there close to the visitor center, right there. I'm going to take just a quick walk around this farm here, so you can kind of see what's out here. I'm not going to take time to stop and really look at everything. I've been out here before. I just want to pan around with the camera, kind of give you an idea. The river's still running over there. Several farm buildings. You can walk this path for a ways. It's not the Oconaluftee River Trail, but it is a good little hike back that way and alongside the river. Little farmstead cabin. Sabrina and I have enjoyed looking at a bunch of such old homesteads like this. All right, that's the back side of the visitor center. And there's our lone elk that's out there. All right, we're gonna head back in the opposite direction. Try to get back to the car before dark. Headed back, I still got the farmstead here to my left. 441's over here to my right across from this pasture. But right up ahead, I don't know if this is the spike elk that we passed earlier, or if this happens to be another one. I think I see spikes on his head. Yep. That's the little spike we saw earlier. He then came out of the woods and into the field. If you're not familiar with the elk program in the Smoky Mountains, they used to be native here forever up until the late 1800s, when they were wiped out by overhunting and habitat loss. Just being a remnant that's been in Kentucky. And so back around, I think 2001, 2002, the National Park Service got, I believe it was 52 elk from the land between the lakes and placed them in Oconaluftee Valley, which is another beautiful place to go visit elk and just Smoky Mountain scenery altogether. A little bit more difficult to get to, long gravel road that starts near Maggie Valley and goes through the heart of the Smokies. But I've done it, and it's worth it. But anyway, the elk have now grown in size. I think the herd's now over 200, and they're kind of spread out between Oconaluftee and around Cherokee. So if you want to see elk up here, the easiest place to see them is right here at this Oconaluftee Visitor Center area right here in Cherokee. We've been up here many times, and most of the time we've spotted some elk. Not every time, but most of the time, especially when it's in the mornings and evenings, not so much in the midday. And then there's another herd that you can see that's in Oconaluftee. And we went there several years ago during the fall, and the rut was on, and it was pretty cool to watch the bulls chase each other. We watched one big bull chase off a smaller bull that was getting too close to his harem of about, I don't know, 20 or so cows, and then listening to him bugle. Pretty cool, really cool. We also seen a bear on that trip, so I recommend that. Now, if you really want to see some more wildlife, including bear and especially deer, I recommend Cage Cove. Although it seems like seeing the deer in Cage Cove it's not as plentiful. They're not as plentiful as far as seeing them as they were many years ago. Back when Sabrina and I came up here on our first trip together back in 1993 on our honeymoon, we went to Cage Cove, and I don't know, we seen probably more than 200 deer plus a bear. Now the last several trips we've been, we still see deer. We've never been without seeing any, but it's been closer to 15 or 20 deer. Still see a bear or several bears on occasion. Also, the Roaring Fork Motor Nature Trail right outside of Gatlinburg. It's another good place to see bears and turkey. We've never seen a deer there, although I'm sure they're there. So, but it's pretty cool to come up here and see animals, wildlife that don't run away from you like they do back at home. So if you haven't been, I sure recommend it. Smoky Mountains are beautiful. I did fish this river a little bit while we were up here this morning and yesterday morning. I came out here, I bought a permit for Cherokee, North Carolina to fish for trout. And I fished for a couple hours this morning and yesterday morning. Never did catch a fish. I seen several other people fishing. They weren't catching either, but my understanding is this is really a good place to come catch some. And what I've been told is that the warmer weather here, increasing the water temperatures, although to me the water seemed cold when I got down in it knee deep, but apparently it's warmer than what it normally is coming into summertime, and the fish are more lethargic. So what I've been told, the best way to catch them right now is fishing on bottom with red wigglers in the tide pools or in the pools with slack water. But that's not what I was doing. I'm going under the Blue Ridge Parkway. I was fishing with inline spinners and a spinning reel. Yeah. Love to come up here and do some fly fishing. Maybe on another trip. I'm definitely going to try it again. Beautiful places up here to fish. All right, if you ever came into the Smoky Mountain National Park from Cherokee, you don't get but just out of town to the north before you see the sign that says that you're in a national park. Well, here's that sign. A lot of people stop here and get their picture made, as this family here just did. But there we are, the entrance to the most visited park, the most visited national park in the United States. That's a fact. That's mainly because of the population on the East Coast is higher than that on the West Coast, where the other parks like Yellowstone and Grand Tetons at. But there's several million people here per year that visits the Smokies, and it is beautiful. We come up here once or twice a year. Planning on coming back in early September. We won't be staying in Cherokee. We'll probably come through Cherokee, but we'll go on up to Townsend. And we're going to stay in a cabin in Townsend and visit Cage Cove as always, and also Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg. Do some of the touristy things, but I'm going to try to get in another hike at a different trail. I've done a few up here. I try to go somewhere different each time. Sabrina likes to sleep in the mornings, and also because of her health, she's not always able to get out and go places. And so when she's resting back at the hotel or in the cabin, That's when I'll take some time to go fishing or hiking. I'm just about back into Cherokee. I can see the red light up ahead. It's a little darker than what this camera's showing. Camera's picking up light pretty good. So I don't know if you can see the lightning bugs, but I'm starting to see quite a few lightning bugs displaying themselves. They really put on a show at nighttime when it's good and dark. Last night we were at the Unto These Hills outdoor drama. And once the sun went down, you can see the lightning bugs in full force. There's the beginning of town up ahead. I'm at Chinook Bridge Road. It's the only road you have to cross on this little hike. You go under the road, you go under the Blue Ridge Parkway, right there at the southern terminus. We drove a portion of the Blue Ridge Parkway between Cherokee and Maggie Valley yesterday. It's pretty, several good looking overlooks. We stopped at all of them. Went through several tunnels. It's a pretty nice drive, as is the Foothills Parkway up on the north side of the park. This one here, the Blue Ridge, will take you from here, if you start here, all the way up through Asheville, and it winds its way back up to Boone, North Carolina, and all the way into Virginia at the beginning of Shenandoah Valley National Park. So a long, beautiful drive in the mountains. All right, we're back at the beginning of the trail. I should have showed this at the beginning of the hike, but I didn't think about it. It's a 1.5 mile one-way trail. Follows the Oconaluftee River from the edge of the Qualla Boundary System upstream to the Mountain Farm Museum and the Oconaluftee Visitor Center in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. So, good hike if you got a couple hours of time. And you want one that's not difficult. This is an easy, beautiful walk. And it took me about, I don't know, probably a little more than an hour total. I thought before I closed completely, I'd at least show you where I parked. We're now on a sidewalk in town. And there's the car. Right up here is public restrooms. And this parking lot. Parking lot right here at the edge of town before you get into the national park. Easy parking, easy walking. Well, y'all, I was in town. Thought this was the end of the video already. Headed back to the hotel and looked out here into a field, and sure enough, I am in town, but so are the elk.
Right before people get killed, the last picture of somebody right before they die.
Pretty respectable bull there. And there's another one out there. Pretty cool. We'll end the video with these two bulls.